Ripple's CEO just admitted that this is happening, and today we're about to find out, will the last one be the best one? Hello, beautiful people. Shalom, money makers. Let's get into it. So, if you don't know, today there's a few big things that are happening that could affect XRP and could affect the crypto market. Right now, if you can see here, we have a mixture of green and red right now in the crypto market in the top 100. This is because of the uncertainty of today. The whole market is looking at two things, two things today. It's looking at the April Fed interest rate decision and statement. And right now, the probabilities of the Fed chairman, Jerome Powell, keeping interest rates where they are, 3.5, 375, is 98.9%. So unless he's going to go out with a bang and surprise everybody, it seems that interest rates are going to stay where they are. And this is, according to all reports, the last meeting as the Fed chairman. It seems that Kevin is going to be coming in as the new chairman very soon. And we know that he is very pro reduction of interest rates. There's still the factor of the rest of the Fed committee not wanting to reduce interest rates, but maybe Kevin Warsh can persuade them to do that. And then theoretically, this could be very, very important for XRP and for the crypto market. We've talked a lot about this over the past few days, how in 2017 and 2021, when the crypto market went on its parabolic run, when it went on the banana zone run, interest rates were very low. In 2017, they were around 1.5, and in 2021, they were basically between 0.5% there for a long period of time. That means that the money was very cheap. The companies, individuals could go to the bank, get loans, margin was low. And so then you had a situation where people were taking a lot of money and putting it into the markets. And of course, that helped with the squeeze, you could call it, the banana zone. When we hit the theoretical 4-year cycle timeline, the top of that cycle was the date that everybody thought it was, but it did not have that parabolic movement. It did not have the crescendo. It did not have the quote unquote banana zone. And many people will say, oh, it's because of the PMI, right, the manufacturing index. Some people will say the money wasn't there. You could go and listen to Raoul Paul's explanation. But I'm looking at this and looking at that interest rates were low when that happened previously. And everybody thought that that was the reason why this was happening, because it was a cycle. I still think that one of the big factor was interest rates. And so this could be a make it or break it situation here for the crypto market. Of course, we also have the Clarity Act and everything around that, and the Iran USA situation, which we'll get to in just a second. But before we continue, I just want to remind you that this video is for educational purposes, for entertainment purposes only, not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence before you decide to invest. The second thing that is happening today is some of the biggest companies in the world, Microsoft, Amazon, Meta, Google, all have earnings today. Now, we have seen in the past where the crypto market does react to things that happen in the stock market. We've seen sometimes good results result in the market pumping and then crypto following. We'll see how this all plays out tonight. The thing that I'm going to be looking for is more what the Fed says in his statement and less his rate decision, because again, it seems like there's very high probability that we're going to have a no reduction, right? So now let's move on to more things. President Trump has instructed his aides to prepare for an extended blockade of Iran to compel nuclear capitulation, per Wall Street Journal. The details include Trump has opted to continue squeezing Iran economy and oil exports through a prolonged blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. Trump believes resuming bombing or walking away from the conflict pose a higher risk than maintaining the blockade. Continuing the blockade is expected to drive U.S. gas prices even higher, and the U.S. blockade of the Strait of Hormuz has resulted in the lowest number of transits through the strait since the Iran war began. Today marks 2 months of the Iran war. So now we have a situation where oil is again above 100. You can see it's 102 when I'm recording this video. And this is the tactic right now. They figured out that if they suffocate their economy, then they have no choice but to come to the table with their arms wider, open wider, right? Meaning they'll be more inclined to accept a wider variety of things. Right now, they're only willing to accept one or two things, and the US and Israel are only willing to accept one or two things, and they're very far apart at the negotiating table. If you remember, I told you the first ceasefire is just for just for show, and then it continues on, because when I saw that 10-point plan, I was like, no way they're going to agree to that. So now we're in this situation where their economy continues to get more dire and more dire, and oil prices, listen, they're not crazy high, they're not low, but remember, in 2022 we saw similar prices, even higher prices, when we went all the way up to 127 and 116, and it wasn't the end of the world. So we'll see. Yes, of course, this will affect inflation in the short term, but long term, this could be better for the world and for the world economy. Okay, when you have less risk, then people are more intend to invest. Okay, so that's very important. Well, let's talk about me and you. No, let's talk about Senator Cynthia Loomis pushes back on concern over the Clarity Act's developer protection clause, saying she's working on it. She adds she's committed to keeping non-money transmitting developers safe while still holding bad actors accountable. So again, they'll continue to work on the Clarity Act. We'll probably get an update in the next week or two if it goes to the banking committee. This has been so tiring and so draining. And, some days, I'll tell you the truth, I look at the situation in the Clarity Act and I just exhale, because it's been, the price action and the situation. Now, of course, there was some, good times sprinkled in there, with rave and everything that happened there. But for the most part, it's been pretty boring price action. But on the flip side, there's a lot of news that is happening, right? The news is always the news, right? What's exciting or not exciting is the price action, right? Because if you go back and you say, oh, when videos were getting 50, 60,000 views, right? The news was similar. What was different was the price action. And price action affects our psyche significantly. And remember, when things are going up, people are always like, oh, I'm going to wait for it to go up more, right? But when it's going down, people start freaking out. And the depression that you get from a decline is 4 times stronger than the elation you get from a pump. Okay, it's clinically proven. If you think about it, right? Let's say you're up $5,000. You'd say to yourself, oh, $5,000, that's not enough, right? I want 50, I want 500, I want 5 million. But when you lose $5,000 or you're down $5,000, you say to yourself, oh my God, that's a month's salary or half a month's salary. Hopefully you're making a lot more than that. And you say, oh my God, I just lost a whole month's of work, right? And then you start thinking, oh, why did I do this? And you start getting into depression, right? And so just remember that there's going to be ups and downs and there's going to be flows. And yes, I feel it too. And I am, I'm human after all. And I really appreciate you guys continuing to come and watch the videos and support the videos and smash the like button and drop comments and, keep coming back. I don't take this for granted. I've said this before, but I'll keep saying it, okay? I also want to remind you that I will never contact you on social media asking you to sign up to anything or to send me any money. Those are scammers. Those are imposters. Please be very careful out there. One of the things that people have, and I've actually raised this as well, my concern about the manipulation of the crypto market by Iran. Well, now Treasury Secretary Besson is kind of coming out and confirming my suspicions here. He says, the Treasury Department, through economic fury, has targeted Iran international shadow banking infrastructure, access to crypto, shadow fleet, weapon procurement networks, funding for terrorist practice in the region, and independent Chinese teapot refineries that support Iran's oil trade. These actions have disrupted tens of billions of dollars revenue that would have been used to fund terrorism. Under POTUS maximum pressure campaign, Tehran's inflation has doubled and its currency has rapidly depreciated. Karg Island, Iran primary oil export terminal, is soon nearing storage capacity and will force the regime to reduce oil production, resulting in additional approximately 170 million per day lost in revenue and causing permanent damage to Iran's oil infrastructure. Treasury will continue to exert maximum pressure and any person, vessel, or entity facilitating illicit flows to Tehran risks exposure to U.S. sanctions. And he also said that they were basically targeting Iran's access to crypto. They had frozen the with Tether, if you remember a few days ago. So this is basically what's happening now. And I told you, I thought that Iran was manipulating the crypto market, shorting when things were happening. And I wouldn't be surprised if they were also longing oil in some capacity. They knew that this was happening. Listen, their government is in a bad situation. Their inflation is gone bananas. And so this, of course, is going to affect the crypto market going forward. But that's the good and the bad, right? There's always going to be the good and the bad. There's always going to be players that are trying to take advantage of situations. It is what it is, okay? Now let's talk about some good stuff, right? About some good times. We have, of course, this situation in Las Vegas that is developing. But before that, Brad tweeted out 100%. All roads lead back to Ripple's North Star. He says, every day CEO's responsibility is to communicate and recommunicate the North Star again and again. And Brad reminds us that Ripple's North Star is XRP. People will say, no, it's their stable coin or this and that. At the end of the day, Ripple's main North Star, its main, darling is XRP. So don't forget that. And on that, right, there's now a Bitcoin conference going on in Las Vegas. But if you look out the window from the Bitcoin conference, you see ads for XRP. You can see here for Ripple, what does it say? Didn't fold XRP, right? And you can see here, this is the best clip from Vegas. The XRP community gives everyone over there something to look up to. XRP everywhere, and you can see XRP, XRP. I don't know what the reasoning behind this is. Is it to stick it to the Bitcoin community? You know that I am invested in both. I'm not a purist. I don't think that you should only be in one thing, right? But this is interesting. There's always been this kind of tackle, also on YouTube, but also in IRL, right, in real life, between the XRP community and the Bitcoin community. And I don't know, Ethereum doesn't really have a community, right? Solana, not really either. But XRP and Bitcoin have some very, what's the word? Fond followers, right? Avid followers. And so that creates a situation where, and especially because they were both around in 2017 and before. And so it created this situation. And I don't know I think this is Ripple that is doing this because, it was from Ripple X account, right? So this is the developer account for Ripple. So this is Ripple that is doing this. It's interesting because there was the XRP conference before, but now most people that are there, and I'm seeing a lot of YouTubers and influencers that are there right now, they're coming for the Bitcoin conference. And all the politicians, for the most part, came for the Bitcoin conference. So I don't know if this is a way to wake up everybody to XRP or expose people to XRP, but this is an interesting situation that is happening right now in Las Vegas, this kind of Cold War. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section down below. Do you think this is a good thing, or this is a waste of money and it's not really going to bring anything for Ripple? And let me know in the comment section down below. What do you think the Fed is going to say today? It seems that interest rates are going to stay put, but what will the Fed say about the future? And that, I think, is the most important thing right now. And what do you think about the Clarity Act? Yes, no, maybe. Of course, you can just drop a comment, 8 for infinity and beyond, if your heart desires. If you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, now's the time to do so. And don't forget to smash that like button. That's the easiest thing you can do to support the channel. Don't be lazy. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you next time. And like I always say, let's make a lot of money.